I am John Davis Marshall, your lifestyle architect. Welcome to another episode of Wisdom to Wealth. If my coaching can benefit your professional life, or if my counseling can benefit your personal life, then why not extend your experience with me by visiting my website and connecting? That's johndavismarshall.com. And while you're there at my website, bless yourself with one of the books that I've written and subscribe to Matters Magazine. You may subscribe to a printed copy that you will receive every month, or you can subscribe to a digital copy, which likewise you will receive every month. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and encourage all of your friends to do so. Reach out to 3 of your friends right now and ask them to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And then make a comment. Say something, even if it's, well, say something nice, but comment on this video. What do you think about it? What do you think I need to add additionally or take away? Say something about it. Like this video and then share it with your friends by way of all of your social media. And remember that every Wednesday we explore family members. Pull up a chair, get your front row seat, and let's see what God says to us today. We're talking about bonding affectionately as a family. There's no more beautiful, harmonious relationship than the family. The family. Often you hear people say, I get along better with people outside of my family than I do with people inside of my family. Well, remember, the people outside of your family that you get along with so well, they come from a family. The question, how well are they getting along with their family? Wow, that's unfortunate that you have affectionately bonded with people who came from a different womb better than the ones who came from the same womb. It's unfortunate that you bond and you're more affectionate toward people that's not in your family better than you do people who are in your family. As a matter of fact, what we really should do is subscribe to healthy relationship principles and concepts. That will allow us to have the best relationship with people, whether they're in our family or not. Because at the end of the day, every person is in your family. God started the human race by creating a man named Adam. And then he brought to him his wife, Eve. And they are the ancestors of every person. So really, there is no person that's outside of your family. We are related. We're related to every person. Understanding that concept should get rid of racial hatred and bigotry. To realize that regardless of what the complexion is or the country from which they were born, we're related. We are related. And hopefully we are double related. Hopefully we are double blood relatives. Hopefully we are related in Adam and then related in Jesus. So there really isn't a person who's not related. Excuse me. So let's talk about this family dynamic. Husband and wives should affectionately bond. Research says, or statistics indicate, that about 40% of people in America will divorce. They will divorce because they are not affectionately bonding together. Affectionately bonding. And notice I said bonding, I-N-G, not bonded, because affectional bonding is not a one-time enterprise. It is a daily experience. You've probably never heard of a person who got up one morning and said, my wife and I were getting along so well. We were bonding so affectionately well. We just decided to get a divorce. It doesn't work that way. So husbands and wives should affectionately bond together. I've heard people say we fell out of love. We no longer like each other. We no longer love each other. How sad and most unfortunate. But husbands and wives must affectionately bond and keep bonding all the days of your life. As a matter of fact, in your wedding vows, you said for richer or poor, better or worse. Do you realize what you said? Your wedding vows said no matter how bad it becomes, we are married until death removes one of us. You stood before hundreds and lied, and now you are Xing out. Affectionately bond. Well, how do we affectionately bond? In order for husbands and wives to affectionately bond, they must spend a sufficient amount, a sufficient quantity of quality time. Yes, you must spend a sufficient quantity of quality time together. You say, well, how much? I can't answer that. There are some people who have a higher socialization need. They need more time. And there are others who have a lower socialization need. They may need less time. So you have to decide within your context how much. And there must be a compromise. There must be a willingness on both partners to meet the needs of the other. If the wife commits, I'm going to meet my husband's needs, and the husband commits, I'm going to meet my wife's needs, then both of their needs will be met. But the moment selfishness sits in, the moment the wife say, I don't want my husband's time, I don't want to spend time with him. The moment the husband says, I don't want to spend time with my spouse, I want to satisfy my personal selfish preference, then the bonding stops and the relationship begins to unravel. But if you're going to affectionately bond, you must spend a sufficient quantity of quality time together. Here is the only gauge that I know to use. Frequently evaluate your relationship. If it's growing, then you're doing the right things. If it's not growing, you must then do something better or differently. Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 5. God sought to get marriages off to a healthy start. God believed that husbands and wives needed a tremendous amount of time in order to bond affectionately. Listen to the advice that God gave to the newlyweds. Deuteronomy 24 and verse 5. When a man takes a new wife, he shall not go out with the army, nor be charged with any duty. He shall be free at home 1 year, and shall give happiness to his wife whom he has taken. God believed that when a man married, that he should take a whole year to start off their affectionate bonding. Don't send him away in the army so that he'll be away from his wife. Do not give him any duties that's going to take him away. Let him focus on developing an affectionate bonding with his wife. Well, if God recommends a whole year, then what do you think we should do? We should consider the wisdom of God. I do not believe there is any such thing as spending too much time together affectionately bonding. Now, that is if you are not abandoning your other responsibilities to their detriment. In other words, if you need to be on the job and you're at home and get fired and no income is coming in, both of you are going to get hungry. But spend as much time bonding. I say to couples, when you get married, never be on the opposing team. Never. If you're playing a game of basketball, always play on the team with your wife or your husband. If you're playing a game of spades, never play against your spouse. As simple as that might seem, it might seem like a good thing for the men, the husbands, to play against the wives. No, that's a bad thing. Marriages have begun to unravel from the joking and the jesting that took place when one side won and the other lost. Never, ever, never, ever. Do not joke your spouse publicly. Everything that you do publicly, make sure it's nurturing for your spouse. And if other people are having a good time belittling or joking your spouse, then at best, don't participate. But it's better to step in and rescue them from that. Communicate that we are a team, and we are a team in opposition to everything, and we are always a team. Now listen to what the proverb writer had to say about husbands and wives. Proverbs 5 and verse 18. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice in the wife of your youth. Husbands and wives, spend sufficient quantity and quality of time affectionately bonding. Affectionately bonding. Less time together usually means less influence. Less time together usually means less affectionate bonding. Look for reasons, make up excuses to spend time together. Go out of your way, exit out of other experiences so that you can spend more time bonding together with your spouse. Take advantage of the bondable moments. Years ago, I heard a story. I heard a man talking to his coworkers. We all worked at the hospital together, and I overheard him talking to some people about a family experience. He said he discovered, and I'm not sure, I don't recall how long he had been married. I think they had been married around 6 months, but I may be wrong about that. But he was sharing with coworkers an experience. He said he discovered that he and his wife were becoming distant. So they decided to unplug the television for 30 days and turn the television toward the wall. They didn't watch television for 30 days. During that period of time, they discovered that they were bonding so well. until they decided we will never have television in this house. They recognized that television was interfering with their bonding. So after 30 days, they decided never again will we have television. So it was a brand new television. He took the television to the city dump and threw it away. And the people that was listening to his story shouted in disbelief. And they said, "Why didn't you sell it to someone else rather than throw it away?" His response baffled me. And I'm telling you, this is a story I heard 48 years ago. He said to those women, he said, "My wife and I decided that anything that had caused us that much harm, we wouldn't put it off on somebody else." So they threw the television away. Praise the Lord for couples who recognize that their relationship is headed for the disaster zone, and they are willing, no matter what the cost, to get back on the good track. And I challenge you to do that. Family starts rest with husbands and wives. And if husbands and wives will affectionately bond together, we can solve most of the problems in our society. We can solve the homeless, the delinquency, if husbands and wives will affectionately bond together. There are no problems we cannot handle in this society. I'm expecting you to do just that. Remember, I am John Davis Marshall, your lifestyle architect. If my coaching can benefit your professional life or my counseling can benefit your personal life, then extend your experience with me. Reach out and connect through my website, www.johndavismarshall.com. And while you're there on my website, bless your life with one of my books and subscribe to Matters Monthly magazine. And then subscribe to this YouTube channel, Wisdom to Wealth. Comment on this video. Tell me what you think about what I've said. I need to hear from you. Like this video and share it. Indeed, it is true. A better you begins with a grace view of God. Therefore, we want you to be gripped in his grace and mesmerized by his mercy.